And the money you have may not be enough for everybody, right? Just for, we are talking about all sentient beings. Just if you think about giving money just to human beings, how many we have? Over 8 billion human population. So even if you give 1 rupee each, you need 8 billion. Unthinkable, right? So therefore, giving material things is good, but the main reason why people are suffering is because they don't know how to live their life. They don't know what to do, what not to do. Because of that, they are suffering. They are not suffering just because there is shortage of material facilities, right? So therefore, if you get completely enlightened and become omniscient, then you will know how to help others. You will know how to help others. You can read their mind, what this girl needs, what that young boy needs. You will know precisely what is the kind of karma they have committed in the past. What are they going to do in the future? The Buddha will be able to know everything. So accordingly, they will be able to guide and help people. Whereas ordinary people, despite of their best intention, they may not be able to cater to the needs of everybody, right? So that's why education is so important. Education is important. So therefore, it's important to aspire to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So Buddha is somebody who has Changchup. Changchup means, so Chang means somebody who has purified all the negative deeds. Chup means somebody who has internalized all the positive qualities. Changchup. Changchup. And one who has cultivated this mind, wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, such a person is called Bodhisattva. So Bodhisattva is the person, bodhicitta is the mind. So to make a long story short, the most important thing that you need to understand here is the importance of bodhicitta, the wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, right? So what is bodhicitta? Now write this down. The wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Next time if somebody asks you what is bodhicitta, then you should be able to say, it is a mind wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. A mind wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. A mind wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. That is called bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, mind to enlightenment. Roughly, literally translated, mind to enlightenment. But in terms of definition, mind wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Now you know bodhicitta, right? Is that clear? Bodhicitta. So next time if you hear Changchu Sem bodhicitta, don't say you don't know. Okay? Wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings is very important. Very important, because you want to be, as we all agreed, we all said we want long-lasting happiness. If you become Buddha, there is a long-lasting happiness. If you want to make others achieve long-lasting happiness, you can guide that path if you are enlightened. So therefore, this one, bodhicitta, has two features. One, the wish to become Buddha, that's one feature. There's the aspiration that you want to become Buddha. And what is the purpose? To benefit all sentient beings. So there are two features, primary features of the mind. One is to oneself get enlightened, and the objective is to benefit other sentient beings. So that's the objective and the aspiration and the motivation. So objective is very good. You want to benefit everybody. Inspiration is very good. Motivation is very good. You want to become enlightened, completely enlightened. But in between, what you need to know is, if, if, if you really want to help all sentient beings and become Buddha, then you should know the path. I know my purpose. I have an objective, but I don't know the path. Right? I want to go to Delhi to study, but I have no idea how I should go. Whether I should go by aeroplane or go by bus or by taxi, you need to know this very clearly. Otherwise, you will be spending money unnecessarily. Right? So, likewise, you need to know the path. Now, in the case of the Buddhist path, if you look at the whole structure of Buddhism, there are three features with the whole structure of Buddhism. First structure is the foundation. The foundation of Buddhist teaching is two truths. Two truths. The foundation of the Buddhist teaching is two truths. And the path is also two: skillful means and wisdom. And the fruit will be, you will become enlightened. You will actualize Dharmakaya and Rupakaya. Right? Is that clear? So that is really good news, because what we are saying is Buddhism is based on law of nature. It's not something that Buddha taught because he had some ideas, and like in the ordinary world also many people have so many ideas, one says this, another says this, so nobody is sure which direction you're actually going. Even among scientists, one big scientist discovers something, become very famous, then another one says, okay, this is now obsolete. According to our new finding, this is not right. So they keep on correcting each other. Once this question was asked to me in a challenging way. When I was attending a 3-day conference between Buddhism and science, there was a young gentleman, Russian, speaking good English. So in a challenging note, he said, in the case of science, almost every year we make new discoveries, new findings. So there is like constant progress and development. In the case of Buddhism, what is the development? What is the new finding? I mean, you are repeating the same thing again and again. So on the first day, he said this in a challenging note, but I did not challenge him. Then on the second day also, he mentioned it. Then I was a little bit exasperated. Then I said, okay, now let me give you an answer. It's good. Science is discovering many new things, but where is your direction? One comes and says one thing, another comes and says one thing. There's no ultimate direction. In the case of Buddhism, we don't have to keep on, putting pages after pages, because it is a path shown by a completely enlightened being. He's very clear about the ultimate goal. He's very clear about the path and the whole process. And it is not that his teaching was not examined and scrutinized by the others. Hundreds and thousands of scholars followed him, analyzed his teaching. They all said this is perfect. So we don't have to change the direction every time. So this is what I think. But of course, everybody has the right to ask all kind of questions, right? So it's very amazing. This path given by Buddha is really amazing. But then sometimes the way you teach has to be adapted a little bit depending upon people with different backgrounds, right? So therefore, these days when I teach Buddhism, I always say Buddhism must make sense in today's world. For the time being, forget about Nirvana, enlightenment, invisible forces, right? But it must make sense in today's world. It must help transform your life. It must help you become happier right now. Here, right now. Mi chulu lekchina hlai du pathao mering. There's a teaching which says, "Mi chulu lekjuna layudaba thamri." That means, if to start with, if you live this humanistic way of life, secular and humanistic way of life properly, with ethics, with discipline, then it is not difficult to transcend higher religious ways of life. That will be the stepping stone. But many times what happens is we don't have the basic good moral practices and then talk about big things, nirvana, enlightenment, for me, it's really like fooling yourself. If you're hungry, the first thing you need is something to eat. You don't need five-star hotel. But to have something to eat is urgent, right? 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 So therefore, neither I have that profound and vast knowledge to teach you, but my motivation is also to inspire all of you and help understand that Buddhism makes sense in today's world. Otherwise, as somebody asked the question, our elder generation, they keep on reciting, do all this a little bit, offering things like, as I said, they have every right to do that, but that will lead you probably nowhere. You continue to do the same thing again and again, not much progress in health, not much progress in happiness, not much progress in happiness. And I give the example of Tibet, which I mentioned this morning also. How Tibet lost its country? How it lost its country? Buddhism was very strong there at that time. We lost our country, one, because the way we were practicing maybe really not so good, right? The rituals were there, plenty. Rituals were there. Then thinking, this God will protect me, this deity will protect me. And you are not doing the things that you should be doing on a regular basis. That is improving your secular education, improving your health, defending your border. People did not pay attention, thinking, oh, our borders are safe, they'll be defended by the deities. Hello, where are you? When we lost our country, I'm sorry to say that. It's really something like that. You need to understand this. So in the case of Ladakh also, your religious knowledge should not be based on faith. While it is not proper for you to tell the elder generation that you are just following blind faith, let them do what they like. But at the same time, gradually, we should bring about this revolution of being able to explain in detail the philosophy, the meditation, and the amazing techniques taught in Buddhism, which is today much sought after throughout the world. If what we are doing is only like, not what we are doing, but if Buddhism is like hollow and no content and no relevance in today's life, why these Westerners are coming and studying? So many of them, they were able to transform and change their life. There are people I know who have very good job in their own country. It's not that they have no job and then they're coming. There are some people who like they have lost their family job, nothing, then they just go somewhere. There are such people also, but majority are not like that. They are educated. They have job in their country, but still come and spend. Some of them spend their whole life in Dharamsala, right? So we are running after the Westerners. How nice if I manage to move to America. And they are coming to Dharamsala. So out of the two, one is, I think, wrong. So while you have every right to go anywhere you like, but you should weigh the pros and cons. What good things are there? What good you have, and try to get all those things. All right. So in order to listen this precious teaching of Bodhicharya, and or in order to listen to any teaching The most important thing is you should have the right motivation. The right motivation is you should think as much as possible, try to gain some knowledge about this precious mind, bodhicitta, and the practices involved. This is so because all these sentient beings, which we may know or may not know today, but according to Buddhism, all these sentient beings have acted as your brother, your sister, your father, your mother in one of the many past lives. And they are still suffering because of ignorance. So with this knowledge, I'll try my best to help any number of sentient beings. So that should be the goal, right? That should be the goal. And when you develop such a motivation, it will not only help others, it will help you, first of all. So all these kind of other sentient beings, although they want happiness, do not want suffering, but what they want and what they do is different. They want good things, but they end up doing unhealthy things, engage in the practice of 10 non-virtuous actions, and therefore they suffer. But today, luckily, I found this precious human life. See, this is the thing. If you're a cow or a bird, there's no question or no need to do any dharma practice. They, number one, they'll not be able to do. Invite some cows and dogs and put them here. Number one, they'll not be able to sit here, right? They'll not understand the word. No, in our case, but still in their case, they have that insensitivity and not less receptivity. But under that kind of insensitivity and little bit delusion, they have hate. They are not so greedy like human beings. They are not so harmful like human beings. They look miserable. I mean, look at in today's world, all this amount of pollutions, right? And then conflict and killing. Who is doing all this? Human beings or other sentient beings? Human beings. Shame, shame. As they say in Lok Sabha in India, shame, shame. It's really. And this is so because we have this amazing human intelligence and brain, and we have misused this brain in the wrong way. And if you use this same brain, intelligence the right way, you can also be like His Holiness Dalai Lama. You can also be like Buddha. You can also be like Mother Teresa. You can also be like Martin Luther King, so and so forth. So one person can be source of happiness for many people. The same brain, if it is used in the wrong way, you can become Mao Zedong. 75 million people lost their life during Mao Zedong's rule. 75. Similarly, Hitler, Stalin, Lenin, Idi Amin. So the list is long, people who are doing bad things. Same person, with same physical feature, but differences in human mind. Right? So therefore, you need to realize that this life that I've obtained is what we call as precious human life. This human life is precious because of this capacity of the mind and the brain. But still, whether it will become your life will become precious or not is dependent upon how are you going to use your brain and your mind. If you use it in the right way, definitely your life is precious. And if you use your brain and intelligence in the wrong way, not only not it is not precious, but it will become what is the opposite of precious? Huh? Any word which is directly vicious, or useless. Really, not only useless. Useless is very mild, destructive, horrible, whatever, right? So therefore your motivation should be, I will make this human life meaningful. And you are not going to get this, according to Buddhist teaching, you are not going to get this human life again and again. Because anything that we experience in this world comes from causes and conditions. And your life as a human being also came from certain causes and conditions. Right? So unless you have done something good in the past lives, you will not be able to obtain this precious human life. So appreciate the fact that you definitely have done something good in the past life. So now make sure that you don't do anything that will project you into a negative way of life. So that is your responsibility, right? That's your responsibility. So setting our good motivation is very important, because you have not only obtained this precious human life, you had the fortune to meet this precious Dharma and precious teachers. So therefore, one of the many good things that you do, among the many of the good things that you do, cultivating bodhicitta is one of the most important things that you can ever do. Okay. So in terms of the title, in Sanskrit it's called Bodhisattva Charyavatara. So entering the Bodhisattva way of life, right? Entering the Bodhisattva way of life. You know Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is the person who have cultivated bodhicitta, and his way of life is the practice of the 6 or 10 perfections: giving, morality, patience, effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, prayer, and so on and so forth. 10, right? So, and then to start, first is the verse making offerings or paying homage. Verse paying homage. Respectfully, I prostrate myself to the Sugata, means one who went from peace to peace, which is Buddha. Respectfully, I prostrate myself to the Sugatas. And who are these Sugatas? Who are these Buddhas? They are the ones who are endowed with the Dharmakaya. That Dharmakaya means one who had actualized the truth body, the wisdom mind, as well as their noble sons means the Bodhisattvas, who are their spiritual sons. And to all who are worthy of veneration, or everybody who is worthy of veneration. Right? So in general, when you do the prostration, do you do the prostration? Chaksalo. Do the prostration? So when you do the prostration, you should know this meaning of this Tibetan word chak. Chaksalo, chaksalo, chaksalo. In Ladakh also you say chaksalo, right? So chak means sweep, clean. Chakma chak. You take a broom to the broom we say chakma. And the chakma chak means you use brain to sweep the dust. Similarly, when you say chak salo, chak means you are saying, I will sweep clean all my impurities, impure thoughts. Next time when you do the chak salo, physically, verbally, mentally, you should think about this. By doing this prostration and paying homage, I will clean the impurities of the mind. That's number one. Number two, at the same time, I will also seek the good qualities from Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Tsalo, chak, tsalo. Tsalo means, please give me your good qualities. I will receive your good qualities, compassion, love, all those things. So the purpose of paying homage is to clean your impurities of the mind and to endow your mind with positive qualities. Right? And then also paying homage, bowing down, is antidote to arrogance. If you bow down, show respect to others, This is supposed to reduce your arrogance. An arrogant person normally don't bow down to anybody, right? Their manner of walking is also different. They'll go like this. क्या हो रहा है आजकल बोलता है ना और आजकल कहाँ है झुकता नहीं है ना they never bow down and the problem of never bowing down is pride got before a fall. If you go like this you will trip and fall. If you don't see where you're going you'll trip and fall. That's the problem. So always be humble. If you remain humble you become receptive. You can get so many knowledges from all directions. You can receive knowledge even from the mouth of the child if you become receptive. If you become proud and arrogant, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know when you know nothing. There are people who have this habit of saying, yes, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Right? So humility is very important. Example that is given to demonstrate the importance of humility is some of the Kadamba masters, they say you should yourself find out whether the beautiful green grasses and the nice flowers grow more on the exposed top of a mountain or down in the valley. Huh? Down in the valley, right? So like the valley, if you're a little bit humble, receptive, you can always get knowledge from others. And if you act like the exposed top of a mountain, there may be some flowers, but not many. Hardly any green grasses. Right? And then also, if you look at your physical feature, you have only one mouth, two eyes, two ears, which means see more, listen to others more, speak a little bit less. But we do the opposite. We don't listen, we don't carefully see things, keep on talking, yanking. Right? Because if you listen more, you can always learn so many things from others. If you keep on talking, yes, sometimes like this, my kind of talk is useful because I prepare. And without preparation, if you keep on talking, you'll not get much. But in my case, I get a lot because I prepare. I really need to prepare. There's one reason, not because I'm very kind to you to come all the way Dharamsala, not kind to you, but a little bit selfish also. Oh yeah, they are having retreat, and I'm also going to have retreat morning, evening. I just keep on reading this book again and again. So I have to prepare. Even if I have to give just one talk, I have to prepare, you see. Right. So the point that I'm making is listen more, see more, speak less. See more means if you have not seen the reality, don't speak. In the news, they say, "Aankhon dekha hal bolta hai na." Something that you have seen, that it means this is kind of truth. I have seen, then you can confidently say. And many times we gossip, and then let the rumor spread. Such and such thing has happened. Have you seen? No, somebody told me. This is how problems are created in the society. And this kind of mistakes is made also by Aristotle. Aristotle, for example, he's very famous, right? But he also made mistake. One mistake, he made many mistakes. One mistake that he made was, women have less teeth than men. Yes, he said that. Is that true? Huh? Same amount, right? Same number. That's the result of just listening to somebody and not personally checking facts. Aristotle actually married 2 times. He could have easily asked his wife to open the mouth and counted there's no problem, right? Counted the teeth. He didn't do it. He must have heard it from somebody and then said, women have less teeth than men. And then somewhere else he found something. And then he advised people, when a woman is about to give birth, they should run towards the wind blowing from the north. So many people used to do that, you see. So many are unfounded. So therefore, unless you have personally heard and seen, then at the most, if you're dying to speak, then you can say, this is what other people are saying. Don't say it happened, as if you have seen things, right? Okay. So, here I shall explain how to engage in the vows of Bodhisattva's son, that means Bodhisattvas. How to say? Bodhisattva, Buddha's sons means Bodhisattvas. One, actually, from the root Tibetan word, one word is missing. The root text actually says, here I shall explain briefly. ये briefly यहाँ नहीं है ना, खा गया बीच में. I shall explain briefly how to engage in the vows of Bodhisattva. He's saying briefly because people have no time. And if you are somebody who want to read many, there are so many other texts, the meaning of which I have condensed in accordance with, okay, probably this is the word, condensed briefly. Then he says, there is nothing here that has not been explained before, and I have no skill in the art of rhetoric, therefore lacking any intention to benefit others. I read this in order to explain it to myself. See, this is Shantideva. This is Shantideva. He's saying, I actually have nothing new to say. By this, what he's saying is, if you're just looking for new things all the time, then I have nothing new, what is not told by Buddha and other great teachers. Are you here just to find some new words? Many people interested just getting new things, right? They're not interested in practicing what they already know. So that's what he's saying. If you're just looking for something new which is not explained before, I have nothing. And also, if you're not looking for new words, but if you're looking for the poetic beauty, art of rhetoric means poetic beauty. Some people are very interested in poetry. So if you're looking for a beautiful poem, there also I have no capacity. I'm not a great writer. Therefore, I really don't have much intention that this will be useful for you. And then if you ask Shantideva, then why you are writing this? Who told you to write this? Then you can say, I'm writing this just for myself. And then he says, but don't think my write-up is completely useless, for due to acquaintance with what is wholesome. In my own case, if I get acquainted with it, then the force of my faith may, at least for a short, will increase, right? Even if you think about good things, it will help you, right? So that will be the case in my case. But if, however, this book is seen by others, and among those others, there may be some who are of equal, intelligence and fortunate to myself, then it may be meaningful for them also. So don't think it is completely useless. Now, the important point that he's saying in verse 4, leisure and endowment, difficult word, but what he's saying is, leisure and endowment are very hard to find. That means this precious human life that you obtained has leisure, which means time, opportunity. Endowment means facilities. You have opportunity, you have time, you have facilities, right? And this time and facility that you have today as a human being is very hard to find again, as I already mentioned. And since they accomplish what is meaningful for men or women or people, if I do not take advantage of them now, how will such a perfect opportunity come about again? So that means today I've obtained this precious human life where I'm able to do all this practice. Tomorrow, if I die and born as a cow or a dog, so it's a rare, very, very rare opportunity. So make this human life meaningful. This is important because therefore you need to start practicing today. Because although you have obtained this precious human life, but how long it is going to last? Not easy. Just as a flash of lightning on a dark, cloudy night, you will just see a flash of lightning, which comes for a moment and disappears, which for an instant brightly illuminates all. Likewise, in this world, through the might of Buddha, a wholesome thought rarely and bravely appears. So it may be, I'm thankful to the Buddha, it may be because his blessing that, like the flash of lightning in a dark, cloudy night, today somehow I'm able to develop this good thought, which is rare and bravely appears. So I'm fortunate. So that way you're fortunate. You have this inclination to study these good things, means you are already quite good person. So doing many of these teachings, I always tell people that sometimes, now in your case, honestly speaking, I don't feel uncomfortable. I'm okay. I'm very happy. But when I give a teaching to some like senior people, then I feel a little bit uncomfortable. I tell them, this is like preaching the converts, talking to somebody who already has all these knowledges. Right? Right? So therefore, why it's important to practice right now? Because we are, number one, unable to practice. Even if we cultivate some positive qualities, it will be weak and fragile. And in terms of doing bad things, it's really powerful. The motivation is good, the actual practice is good, the conclusion is good. So therefore, verse number 6 says, hence virtue is perpetually feeble. Virtue is perpetually feeble because virtue we don't collect. Even if we do, motivation may be not so strong, actual practice may be so strong, and then conclusion may be not so strong. And in the case of bad things, the great strength of evil being extremely intense. And except for a fully awakening mind, so if you want to destroy or weaken those powerful negative deeds, one of the best ways is to cultivate bodhicitta. And except for a fully awakening mind, bodhicitta, by what other virtue will it be overcome? So that means if you develop bodhicitta, which is, as I mentioned earlier, has two features. One, aiming to become Buddha, another to help sentient beings. Now, in terms of all the negative things we do it either in relation to the Buddha, saying that there's no Buddha, no Bodhisattva, things like that. Or most of the time we do it with other sentient beings. You don't end up doing a negative thing with a rock, with a tree. Very unlikely, right? Today I was very angry with the rock. Today I was very compassionate with the tree. These things normally don't happen. You're compassionate or angry with other sentient beings. So therefore, just like when you fall on the ground, then you have to get up by seeking the support of that very ground. So similarly, when you commit mistakes, commit negative deeds in relation to sentient beings, in relation to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the way to purify it is also in relation to sentient beings, that may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. That's what he's saying. And why bodhicitta is important? Bodhicitta is so important that long time, many Buddhas came together or discussed together. What is it that is most important to help all other sentient beings? If I exaggerate a little bit, they had a kind of conference and discuss what is the most important thing that is good for all sentient beings. Some said love, some said compassion, some said patience, some said so many good things are there. So in the end, they all concluded in agreement by saying bodhicitta. See? So I'm not saying this. All the Buddhas, they discussed about this, they thought about this, not one day, not 2 days, for countless eons they thought about it, they practiced it, then said this is the most important thing. Because you are talking about making all sentient beings become Buddha. Compassion is very important, but it is not saying. It is the compassion is only saying, may the sufferings of all sentient beings come to an end, which is very great. But it's not saying, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Because unless you become Buddha, there's no way you can help all the sentient beings. So there cannot be a mind better than bodhicitta. All the Buddhas have contemplated for many eons have seen it to be beneficial, for by it the limitless masses of beings will quickly attain the supreme state of bliss. Likewise, those who wish to destroy the many sorrows of their conditioned existence, those who wish all beings to experience a multitude of joys, and those who wish to experience much happiness should never forsake the bodhicitta. Because if you cultivate bodhicitta, the moment an awakening mind, which is bodhicitta, arises in those fettered and weak in the jail of cyclic existence, they will be named a son of the Sugata and will be revered by both men and gods of the world. See? I mean, this is very moving. For example, if you're able to cultivate bodhicitta, of course, amazing. But even if you're not able to cultivate bodhicitta, but if you're able to cultivate a good mind, a benevolent mind, men or women, if you really develop a good mind, everybody will say, this boy is very good. Everybody will say, this girl is very good. So generally people will never say, this boy is very good because he is very rich. They will never say, the boy is good because he has a lot of money. Right? So if you have this altruistic mind, like compassion and love and so forth, you have a treasure. You have a treasure in your mind. And these inner treasures like love and compassion, once you develop it, it is all yours. No thieves can steal it, no robbers can rob it, no tricksters can trick it, it's all yours. When you travel, it will not become excess baggage. Okay? Other things, material things. If you don't have, you feel sorry. If you don't have, if you have, then there is the fear. The thieves might take it, robbers might rob it, people might cheat it. Even at the airport, if you carry more than the permitted kilo, they'll say, Madam, sorry, you have excess baggage. How much money I have to give for 1 kilo, 2,000 Indian rupees or 3,000 Indian rupees? Did you notice this when you are flying? And Buddha said this a long time before, nobody listened. The Buddha said, if you keep things more than what you need, that is excess baggage. Nobody listened to it. Or hardly anybody listened to it. Now the same thing is told at the airport. Now if you don't listen, they will fine you. See? So therefore you should better you listen these teachings in advance and prepare yourself. Right? So this is how you save money, I tell you. It is like the supreme gold-making elixir, for it transforms the unclean body we have taken into the priceless jewel of Buddha form. Therefore, family sees the awakening mind. So, meaning that if you cultivate this bodhicitta, then it's really like transforming an ordinary, iron or other, metals into gold by this elixir. That's a particular chemical, substance by which you can transform things into gold. And it is said Nagarjuna has learned this. And during one of famine, he changed many of the ordinary materials into gold and served the monks in the monastery from shortage of food. Right? So therefore, the body that you have now may not be very pure, may not be very clean. The body you've obtained, is it very clean? Is it very pure? You bunch of filthy people. I'm not saying that. I'm joking. so, 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 what he's saying is, the body itself may not be that pure, not be that clean, but that's not important. What is important? Your mind should be clean. And if you develop this bodhicitta to the same ordinary body, people will bow down. Even His Holiness, he has taken ordinary body. He also has to wash his body like you. So physically speaking, there may be like impurities, right? But once your mind becomes clean, then everything becomes precious and clean. All other virtues are like the plantain tree. Plantain tree means like banana. If you remove the first layer, first peel, there's second one, remove that, there's third one, and keep on peeling, and you will find nothing inside. So all the other virtues are like the plantain tree. For after bearing fruit, they simply perish. They give fruit one time. But is this true with banana? They give just fruit one time? See? So all other virtues, if not dedicated for Buddhahood, it is like that. But the perennial tree of awakening mind increasingly bears fruit and thereby flourish without end. Like entrusting myself to a brave man when greatly afraid, by entrusting myself to the awakening mind, I shall be swiftly liberated. So I mean, we had already dealt with some questions by saying I get fear, this and that. One fear is if you have too much obsession to yourself, you get fear. What will happen to me? Things like that. But instead of focusing on yourself, if you focus more on others, bodhicitta, how nice if they all become Buddha, how nice if they are without suffering. If you focus more on others, fear will not become. Fear will not become. If you focus too much on yourself, thinking about death and so many things, then you develop fear. There is one stanza in one of the Buddhist, I think, epistemological text where it says, "Since I have given up all attachment, I have no fear even to the Lord of death. Since I've given up all my attachment, I don't have fear even if the death comes." Meaning that fear comes because of attachment to something. I will lose this. I'll lose my body. I'll die. I'll lose my friend. I'll lose my relative. And that kind of thinking is useless. Just by fearing that you will lose it will not help you not to lose it. Useless, right? Useless. So that also clearly shows many of these problems that we experience are created by our mind, right? Namto dalang, kangdung kumadang. There's a Tibetan saying, meaning that when you have wrong ways of thinking, then your conceptions will become your enemy. Your thinking will become your enemy. And even in an empty room, you may have fear thinking that there will be thieves inside. Nothing to steal there, but it's still you are scared. There may be thieves inside that empty room. So it's all your discursive conceptions that create problems, right? Like entrusting myself to a brave man when greatly afraid, by entrusting myself to this awakening mind, I shall be swiftly liberated. Even if I have committed extremely unbearable evils, why then do the conscientious not devote themselves to this, to the cultivation of bodhicitta? If you cultivate the bodhicitta, just like the fire at the end of an age, the fire at the end of an eon or age is said to be very, very hot, which instantly consumes all great evil. Just like that fire destroys so many things. Once you develop this bodhicitta, it will consume all great evil. Its unfathomable advantage were taught. I mean, there's so many advantages that you can't even talk about. To the disciple Sudana by the wise Lord Maitreya. So how many types of these bodhicittas are there? In brief, two. The awakening mind, which is wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, we call it aspirational bodhicitta. In brief, the awakening mind, bodhicitta, should be understood to be of two types. The first is called the mind that aspires to awaken. That means we call it aspirational bodhicitta. And the mind that ventures to do so, which is called engaging bodhicitta. So awakening aspirational bodhicitta means, how nice if I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. It's like your wish to go to lay market. So that wish itself is good, but just by wishing, you will not reach in the lay market, right? You have to actually go. You have to actually take a vehicle or walk, then you reach there. So therefore, the second is called venturing or engaging bodhicitta, practice of the six perfections and so forth. So he gives an example by saying that this should be understood by the distinction between wish to go and actual going. So the wise understand in turn the distinction between these two. And then the advantages of these bodhicittas. All the great fruits occur in cyclic existence from the mind that aspires to awaken. An uninterrupted flow of merit does not ensue. Uninterrupted flow of merit will be there only if you develop, only if you practice the six perfections. And for who has perfectly seized this mind with the thought never to turn away from totally liberating the infinite forms of life. Yeah, in this way, if you develop this mind, then the benefit will be from that time hence, even while asleep or unconcerned, a force of merit equal to the sky will perpetually ensure and perpetually ensures. For the sake of those inclined towards the lesser vehicle, this was logically asserted by the Tathagata himself, the sutra requested by Subahu. And he's saying, obviously, such advantages there because, even in our ordinary life, when we develop some positive thinking, it has a lot of benefit. For example, if even the thought to relieve living creatures of merely a headache is said to be a beneficial intention, endow it with infinite goodness. If this is the case, then what needs to talk about? Then what need is there to mention the wish to dispel the inconceivable miseries of sentient beings and wishing every single one of them to realize boundless good qualities. And such a precious mind you will not find even with your parents and so forth. Do even fathers and mothers have such a benevolent intention as this? Do the gods and sages, does even Brahma have it? If those beings have never before even dreamt of such an attitude for their own sake, how would it ever arise for the sake of others? This intention to benefit all beings, which does not arise in others even for their own, is an extraordinary jewel of the mind, and its birth is an unprecedented wonder. Unprecedented wonder. It has never happened with us. How can I fathom the depths of the goodness of this jewel of the mind, the panacea that relieves the world of pain and is the source of all its joy? If merely a benevolent intention excels venerating the Buddha, then what need to mention striving to make all beings without exception happy? And then the next question is, if I agree that cultivation of this bodhicitta is so important, And similarly, cultivating all other positive emotions is so important. But why should I have to work for this? Why don't the sentient beings themselves do that for themselves? If you ask such a question, then answer is by saying, in the case of sentient beings, although wishing to be rid of misery, they don't know how to remove misery. Instead, they run towards misery itself. They wish happiness, but like an enemy, they ignorantly destroy it. So because of ignorance, they don't know how to cultivate happiness, how to remove suffering. They don't know. Therefore, somebody who has the knowledge has to help. That's what he's saying. For those who are deprived of happiness and burdened with many sorrows, it satisfies them with all joys, dispel all suffering, and clears away confusion. Where is there a comparable virtue? There's no virtue comparable to bodhicitta. Where is there even such a friend? See this one. Are you looking for friends? Are you looking for some friends? Huh? So he's saying, if you're looking for a friend, make bodhicitta your friend. Make compassion your friend. Make loving kindness your friend. If you have these positive qualities in you, these friends will never cheat you. Ordinary human beings, unfortunately, sometimes they might cheat you. They may not be able to live up to the expectation. Because these good practices will follow you for many lives to come. Good friends will not be able to follow you wherever you go. If whoever repays a kind deed is worthy of some praise, then what need to mention the Bodhisattva who does good without its being asked of him? Clear, no need any explanation. The world honors as virtues a man who sometimes gives a little plain food disrespectfully to a few beings that satisfy them for only half a day. So he says, in this ordinary world, if somebody, say, offers food, which is not bountiful but less food, and also not very special, it's not there, but ordinary plain food, and that they give this food also not politely but impolitely, and not to many people, just few things, few people. Still, the people will honor them and say, "Oh, he's a great benefactor." Although that food will satisfy them only for half a day. Now compare the benefits done by bodhisattvas. What need to say then of the bodhisattvas who eternally, not just half a day, who eternally bestows the peerless bliss of Sukha, the kind of food that he gives is the bliss of Buddha. And in terms of time, upon limitless, in terms of sentient beings, not just few, limitless number of beings, thereby fulfilling all their hopes. The Buddha has said that whoever bears an evil thought against a benefactor such as that Bodhisattva will remain in hell for many eons, as many eons as there were evil thoughts. So because Bodhisattva is such a great person, benefiting countless beings, so if you develop some ill will towards them, there will be drastic negative deeds. Not only Bodhisattvas, among our ordinary human beings also, if somebody is really doing many great things, and if you say nasty things against such person, it will be more sinful, because you are disrupting the good deeds of that person. But contrarily, if a virtuous attitude should arise in the regard, and then likewise its fruits will multiply far more than that. When bodhisattvas greatly suffer, they generate no negativity, instead their virtues naturally increase. But then this is not our quality, this is the quality of the bodhisattva. If you hurt an ordinary person, then that ordinary person will try to revenge you, do all the harms. But if you do harm to bodhisattva, they'll never do that. Bodhisattvas never do it. But if you do it, you will be the one who will suffer. I bow down to the body of him in whom the sacred precious mind of bodhicitta has born. I seek refuge in refuge in that source of joy, who brings to happiness even those who harm him. From the Bodhisattva's way of life, this is chapter 1. This is wrong. Chapter 1, not disclosure of evil. Disclosure of evil is, I think, chapter 2. This is what? Benefit of awakening mind. From the Bodhisattva's way of life, this is chapter 1, the benefits of awakening mind. Lives, where are we now? What is time? Yeah. Question answers, yes, we have little, half an hour, less than half an hour. Yes, they do. Take delay.
My question is that if somebody. So my question is that if somebody do things selflessly, people often say they are acting, or they always judge they're acting, or they're just pretending to be good.
Yeah.
So because of that, I always back off from doing good deeds.
You're paying too much attention to what other people say.
So what do you think what we should do?
People are like that. If you're sitting, they'll say, "Why are you sitting? Get up." If you're standing, they'll say, "Why you are standing so long? Sit down." So don't pay too much attention to other people, right? Do you take breakfast, lunch also, dinner also? When you take breakfast, lunch, and dinner, do you wait and see what other people are saying? Do you do that? Because it's something needs to be done, you do it. Don't wait for what other people say. Do you say, even after you take breakfast, do you say thank you to yourself? No. Because it's something that needs to be done, you do it, that's enough. So similarly, when you do good things for others, don't expect for thank you, or don't be concerned what other people are saying. So long as you know your motivation is good, you are trying best.
Thank you, Geshe.
Yeah.
Tashtila Geshe. Geshe, in this stanza 2, Geshe, which reads, "There is nothing here that has not been explained before, and I have no skill in the art of rhetoric." And this line, Geshe, "Therefore, lacking any intention to benefit others, I write this in order to acquaint it to my mind." So Geshe says, this is lacking any intention to benefit others. So, like you mentioned, that bodhicitta is the intention to attain Buddhahood in order to benefit others, thus all the sentient beings. So this sounds contradicting.
Sounds contradictory, but not contradictory. You're right. Because this is a practice of humility.
I see.
Practice of humility by saying that he's not beating the drum by saying, "Oh, this text will benefit so many people." He's not like some of the modern writers. Some of the modern writers, they may write a book which may not be so interesting, but they will always try to sell it and say, "This is so good. This will help so many people." And in fact, he writes this book to benefit other people. Definitely, that's motivation. He did not write this book for his PhD program, right? So clearly, this is for benefiting other people. But he don't want to, you know.
In one of the teachings of the Buddha,
One of the teachings of the
of the
Buddha, yes.
Buddha, yeah, he said
If
that.
you say one of, then after that plural, one of the teachings,
Okay.
one of the dogs, not one of the dog, yeah.
Okay. He said that discipline your mind.
Yes.
So it's really easy to discipline our mind when it's in a calm state. And
It is easy, what did you say?
it in a calm state.
Yeah, yeah,
Easy
okay.
to discipline our mind.
Yeah,
When it is in a calm mind, calm state.
yeah.
But how can I discipline my mind when it is in a chaotic? My mind is surrounded with so much chaos. So, yeah.
So that's why Shantideva in his book, somewhere down, he says, just as when you walk in a crowd, if you have a big wound here, right? Big wound here, and you have to walk in a big crowd, then you need to be attentive, make sure that nobody touches this wound, right? So similarly, when you walk in the crowd, you need to particularly watch your mind. What am I thinking, right? You have to be especially careful. That's the only difference. If you're sitting alone, even if you relax a little bit, that's not a big problem. But if you are with a big crowd, then you have to be especially careful. Yeah.
Like you told in the previous class that people have different thoughts, people follow Buddhism differently. So I want to ask that according to you, and are you able to follow those accordingly. Thank you.
What a challenge. You are putting me on the spot. Nobody is able to, I should not say nobody, most of people will not be able to follow exactly everything. But that does not mean that I did not benefit from the Buddha's teaching. I got a lot of benefit. I'll tell you a story. Once I was many years back, when I just finished my study in Dharamsala, then I started working for 2.5 years in New Delhi. So one day, an Indian gentleman, I still remember, that was like nearly 30 years back. I still remember his name. His name was Mr. Momik. So Momik came to me, and he was working in the library of Congress. So because of that, he maybe needing some Buddhist knowledges. So he came to me and said, "Can you? I work in the Library of Congress. Can you teach me a little bit about Buddhism?" And I said, "Please come after I finish my office at 5." So he used to come, and two of us just sit in the lawn, and he asked some question and explain. So it went like this for a few days. Then one day he said, "You are a monk. You have been practicing Buddhism for many years. You must have developed some special realization, just like you're asking. You must have developed some special realization. Can you explain it to me?" In a way, I was caught, you see. So then I said, by realization, if you mean whether I can fly, no, I don't know how to fly. By realization, if you mean, can I open a third eye? I don't know. But that doesn't mean I have no realization. I have realization. My realization is I don't kill anybody. Do you kill anybody? That means you also have realization.
Maybe mosquitoes.
Mosquito. Yes, you are honest. You are condemning me everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. So intentionally, normally don't kill, don't steal. So normally we take it for granted. But this, I consider this as really great achievement, great realization. Imagine if in the whole world there's nobody who kills each other, then this world is already like nirvana, liberated, you see. So there are many things like that. Not only me, you, we don't do. So that is achievement. But that doesn't mean we are perfect. We don't make mistakes. Right?
Anyone else?
Don't say your question ran out. This is just first day.
Skyadtsal Geshe.
Uh,
How can we know if our bodhicitta is truly selfless or still influenced by our ego?
that, how can we know? You should see whether when you talk about cultivating bodhicitta, you should see whether you are attaching any strings or not for your own purposes. Normally, at ordinary level, you will find that whether you are doing this for name or fame or some gifts or whatever. So there's not genuine bodhicitta, right? Mm.
You said human life is precious. I agree. But what about the life of other animals? Don't you think they're equally important in this environment to keep the environment in balance? And if there's next life, the past life, and in the next life, if I am born as one of the other animals, uh, I think I'll be doing my role as one of the animals in this environment. So, don't you think that other lives are equally important?
The meaning, when I say human life is precious, you should know the meaning of this preciousness within this context. In general, then we can say all life are precious. That's the different context. So in the case of human life, when we say this is precious because we have this special human intelligence and capacity, which animals don't have. From that point of view, we can say they are not precious in that sense. But by that, we are not saying the life of other animals are not precious. They are also precious because number one, they all have to the nature. Number two, life is sacred and precious for everybody, right? Right. And then you're like, whether you are going to join the species of animal and other things in the next life or not, it's not under your choice. If you keep on doing good things, you will not be born there. If you're born there out of your negative actions, then you don't have much control.
Actually, I have one more question.
Yeah.
What if all of us, I don't know, like do good things, and all of us, both human beings in the next life?
Huh?
What the world would be like?
Forget about like, I mean, on the one hand, human life is precious, but on the other hand, to be born as human life doesn't mean we end up doing all the bad things. See what we are doing right now in the world. So if even if everybody is born as human beings, that's not the solution. Even if we are born as a human being, in one way it is good, but in one way there will be more trouble in the world. You can understand this by the problems that we are creating today in this world. All these countless problems that we have in this world are not created by dogs and snakes and tigers and lions. They are created by the so-called intelligent human beings, right? Okay. Here.
Geshe-la,
Yes.
I'm sorry that this question is keeps coming in my mind.
Oh.
If suffering is a reason to a past karma or a bad deeds, are the suffering right now, are the suffering because of the like Tibetan people who are suffering because of the invasion of China, and do their country comes into the same, like,
Basically, suffering is a result of a bad karma, whether it's in Ladakh or whether it's in Tibet. Suffering is a result of bad karma. But that does not mean to say all suffering is a result of just karma. There are conditions also. There are factors also, right? So on the one hand, can say the Chinese coming in Tibet and looting and torturing is due to our past life karma. But not just past life karma, present life's negligence. And then also the factor that the neighboring country, the Chinese leaders, they are stupid, ignorant people. Right? So many causes. There's for anything that to happen, there's not just one cause, one factor. Many causes, many factors. So we should be very careful. Next time, if there's a flood in a particular country, don't say this is a result of your karma. I'm jokingly telling. But sometimes people who don't know, they say things like that. Then that is not a clever way of saying things. You can, if you want to say that, you say it indirectly. There is a flood because probably you did not take care of the forest. I mean, this again, you are saying the same thing. It's your karma. You're not acting to preserve the forest, things like that. Say it in a different way. Otherwise, they'll misunderstand. They say, ah, they're saying I deserve that, right? Yeah. So also important thing is when we say it's a result of karma, we are not saying the karma has to be past life alone. It may be karma that you've done last year. It may be the karma that you've done this morning, right? Okay. Yeah. Use mic. They are recording. Here. Cover. Cover दे. Okay.
नमस्ते ईशा।
हाँ,
मेरा प्रश्न है
अब कहाँ से आया?
मैं कुशीनगर से
हाँ?
कुशीनगर
कुशीनगर कहाँ?
यूपी।
अच्छा, यू बुद्धिस्ट? अच्छा,
अब मेरा प्रश्न है कि जैसे हिंदुइज्म और इस्लाम में
हाँ।
न्याय की प्रक्रिया है,
हाँ
क्या न्याय की प्रक्रिया मतलब मरने पर आपका जो कर्म है
हाँ।
उसके हिसाब से आपको सजा मिलेगा।
हाँ
बुद्धिज्म में ऐसा है क्या? जैसे कि ये प्रश्न पूछे गए पिछले सेशन में
हाँ
कि 4 लोग अपने अंदर को मार देते हैं।
हाँ हाँ
तो जिस व्यक्ति को मार रहे हैं उसका शरीर खत्म हो रहा है, लेकिन उसका जो माइंड और जो थॉट्स है वो तो बचा रहेगा। तो
हाँ।
बुद्धिज्म में रिबर्थ का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है, तो उसका थॉट
बुद्धिस्ट में क्या नहीं है?
रिबर्थ
रिपोर्ट है।
पूरा।
हाँ
तो जिस व्यक्ति का अगर वो जन्म होता है तो
हाँ।
उसके जो विचार हैं उसको किस तरीके से affect करें?
जैसा करनी वैसे बढ़नी. In every situation, you will reap the fruit as you have done, right? So even if you leave this body, they can kill their body, but there's no death story, right? But the mind that has done the negativity again has to suffer more than more than the death of the body, right? They.
So getting back to karma for a minute, is there actually then such a thing as collective karma?
Huh?
Is there actually such a thing as collective karma?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
can you explain that a little
I'll
bit?
explain this very easily. The question is there a thing called collective karma? Yes, very much. The fact that you have gathered here for this retreat is a result of collective karma, because the organizers organize it and the participants have come. Everybody took an action, then this retreat happened. It's called collective karma. It's very important, because if you really want to improve your country, preserve the environment, then the collective karma must be there. Then on another scale, if the Tibetan any community, big community suffering together, generally speaking, this is a result of collective karma. Because everybody neglected certain things, then result you will experience. For example, everybody neglected about, and try to stop a particular area where there is risk of flood, and then you all suffer. Collective karma, yes. Similar like the individual karma, it's on an extended scale. If many people do things together, that's collective karma. Huh?
Suffer together. Like I'm thinking of Palestine. That's terrible. And it feels as if all those people they can't have a whole country full of people, right? So it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to be, when you present it, you need to be a little bit clever, right? That situation you can't say is a result of your collective karma. You guys, you all did such horrible thing. Now you're experiencing it. You can't say things like that. So the result that you're experiencing may be negligence for a long time. People together must have done many bad things. Then other factors also, come into being. It's very complex, dependent on many causes and conditions. Yeah.
Geshe, my question is little bit out of box and
Out of the box.
yeah, little bit, not
पर
much.
यहाँ बॉक्स नहीं उधर बाहर जाओ बॉक्स बाहर रखा है
Uh, whenever we get chance to visit His Holiness Dalai Lama,
Who?
whenever we get chance,
Yeah.
so we we get some like emotional feelings, like
Yes.
some people have like tear in
Yes,
his or her
yes.
eyes. So what is the reason? Is the power of like his compassion or power of something?
Good question. Good question.
Yeah,
That's what
thank
I
you.
was saying. That nothing can be produced by one cause and one condition. There are many things. Like in your case, you have that unquestioning devotion, trying to see soul energy, and you've heard that he's almost like superhuman. You have, in addition to what all the qualities he have, you also put more qualities, right? And then because of all this, you go there with emotion. Then when actually he meet His Holiness has also His blessing and power. So that produces result. It's not just His Holiness. I'm not denying the great qualities of His Holiness. But you cry when you meet your parents, which you did not meet for a long time. They have no blessings to give you, but they have their love to you. You have your emotion, It happens. I've seen people crying with me also. I was shocked. मेरे पास कुछ भी नहीं है. I know, कुछ भी नहीं है. But then people inject something. Okay, there must be something special. कुछ भी नहीं है मेरे पास. Right? So it's your mind projection. The coil of snake mistaking for the coil of rope mistaken for a snake. Have you heard about this? Right? Have you heard about this? At the corner of this room, if there's okay, I'll tell you the story anyway. In India, there was a teacher. So he was giving some teaching to few students. And after the teaching, he said, okay, take this book and put it on the table in my living room. Then this boy goes and then comes back scared by saying, I can't go there because there's a snake lying at the foot of the table. Right? Then the teacher says, okay, then I'll give you a mantra, Padam Sharanam Gacchami or whatever. You keep on reciting this mantra, then the snake will be scared, he will run away, and then you put this on the table. And by chanting this mantra, he goes, but still that snake doesn't move. So he came back and said, I chanted this mantra, it didn't work. The snake is still lying there. Then the teacher said, okay, take this lamp, torch, light. Then we took the torch and came closer to the table. He found that there is no snake but coil of rope. You see, there is a coil of rope, there is no snake. But when things are not clear, there's no proper light, and then you have the apprehension, then you develop fear as if there is a real snake there. That's how we suffer unnecessarily. Because of a projection, so many things we project, then we suffer, then we feel unhappy, worry. Most of this is your projection, right? Okay, thank you. Ah, कैसे?
Group 1, food object player, page number 45. Page number 45. Page number 45. Page number 45.
The qualities of the Dharma are conceivable. The qualities of the Dharma are inconceivable. The qualities of finance and Dharma are inconceivable. And the power of generating are inconceivable. The result of truth as well are inconceivable. And the opponents move to the inconceivable production. The opposites to the Buddha and teacher of unconditional love. Precious Dharma is the Dharma teacher. The precious Dharma is the sublime liberation. The precious Dharma is the sublime assistant. We offer this food to the treasures, the sources of refuge. Okay, everyone. Before that, uh, I need to know how many are non-Ladakis here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 5?